Gee willikers, it's that time again. The investors want us to make another Ghost Recon game. Well, okay, how should we approach this one? I want to make it bigger than the last one. Badder. There needs to be microtransactions, of course. We need a lot of in-game purchases for various things. Skins, guns, gun skins, hats, shirts. This is central to our gameplay philosophy. And don't forget about the expansion passes. We're going to have a few of those too, because who doesn't love an expansion pass? This is a great revenue maker. But what about the actual game? Right, okay, let's get back to that. Okay, so I want this game to be less straightforward than the previous one. I also want single players to feel really intimidated by this game. I really want to shove the MMO aspect in this game's face. I want so many different types of missions. I want the player to play this game and have multiple types of missions in a confusing layout that can be completed in any order at any time to really hit home how difficult progression is going to be in this game and how little you feel you're actually doing. Okay, to start with, I want yellow missions. Now, these are going to be the main missions. Now, we're going to subdivide these into 3 episodes. Episode 1, 2, and 3. Self-explanatory. But the really unique thing with our game is going to be you can do these episodes in any order. So we can really hit home the fact that this game doesn't really have a continuity at all. And it's not going to be a thing of you complete a mission and you're one step closer to your goal. That's so old hat. We don't want to do that for this, okay? So we're going to do yellow missions, main missions, in any order, episodes 1, 2, and 3. Now, with the structure of these missions, I want to keep it really simple, really redundant, because I know gamers aren't very intelligent, and they really crave repetitive, kind of dull gameplay and just very simple missions, because we don't want to scare off the casuals. So almost all of our missions are going to boil down to this. Extract or protect a VIP, which everyone loves to do, or extract or protect an asset. Find info on a location. Loot. Everyone loves loot, and slowly increasing the power level of your gun, like it's the Division. Sink shot, which is the only time your AI teammates are useful, and eliminate enemy bases / assets. Okay, so you've got the idea for the main missions. Now, I also want side missions. We're just going to reuse the same kind of system for the main missions. And these side missions are going to be in orange. And they'll be all lumped into one big file called side missions. Next, we have green missions. Faction missions, they're going to be called. But really, they're called dailies. Now, for the casual gamer that doesn't know what a daily is, it is a quest you do once a day and get various in-game rewards for doing so. Is there any story significance to these? Not at all. But we're going to pretend there is by having a few cutscenes and some characters who talk and stuff, but there is no significance to this. Okay, and to even make it a little more confusing, let's just put this in under the explanation for green missions. Faction missions enrich current season's narrative. Don't worry about what that means. They will figure it out. All faction missions give battle points. Yet again, they can figure that out for themselves to unlock rewards in Faction Pass TM. Now, this is going to be trademarked, so we really just want to be very careful with how we use that, because that's a TM, that's a trademark, and we're not going to actually explain what a Faction Pass is, but if gamers really want to look at it, they can go on a wiki or just work it out themselves. Lastly, but certainly not least, because we really want this to be the most important aspect of the game, are the purple missions. Now, purple missions are going to be called Ghost War missions, but they're more simply put PvP missions. Now, what a PvP mission is a player versus a player. So this is basically multiplayer. So we're just going to have that there as a a little incentive to purchase the in-game cosmetics, and you want to look cool for your friends who probably rather be playing Rainbow Six Siege. Now, I want to remove any sort of atmosphere in this game. So when players are driving around or walking around, let's have like hardly any ambient music and absolutely no songs whatsoever, because that would add far too much excitement in our game, and we don't want that. So we don't want any radio chatter or any songs, because that would be distracting for the gamer. Also, and I really want to stress this point, the UI needs to be really big and overly complicated. I want a lot of like icons on the screen at once, and I want the objective marker to be really big as well, almost a quarter of the screen. And I want to give the players an option to put that away if they don't want it. So what we'll do is we'll call it a dynamic option. So the mission objective markers will go away when you don't want to see them, but you can't bring them back up because it's a dynamic option. So they'll only show up when you really need them, which is almost always because you need to know where you're going. But don't worry about that. You don't really need them because you can just work it out by yourself, and that adds to the immersive experience that we're offering here in Ghost Recon Breakpoint. So to sum up, I want a very dull game with very repetitive missions. I want the AI to be really dumb, and I don't really want them to help the player that much. The player really needs to feel empowered, so they're going to have to take on every single enemy in every single base pretty much single-handedly. I want to add a really annoying injury system as well, so if you get injured, you have to use a bandage, which takes a long time, or you can either craft a syringe or find syringes. Now, let's just give the players a perk that can eliminate injuries mostly, and let's have that be a perk, not a thing built into the game, because we really want injuries to really we really want the player to feel like they're injured, so we really want them to experience that.